764-97.7. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Welcome, everyone, to this abbreviated edition of The Drive. I am, of course, not Steve Moulton. He is on assignment with UAH Basketball. They have traveled to the Sunshine State of Florida to Nova Southeastern as the Chargers will be taking the floor on Saturday. And as you heard, Steve and I, we were on the Talking Ball together yesterday, and we talked to John Shulman on the Blitz. They will have a 10 a.m. to 11 pregame and then an 11 a.m. tip. And we'll start out on ESPN 97.7 The Zone here with us. And then they will switch to Zone 2 very likely. Hopefully Alabama will be playing in the semifinals against either Missouri or Tennessee. Now we know who Alabama's opponent is going to be. So far the brackets have held up about like people thought. Now I understand that Mississippi State was the 9 seed and Florida the 8, and Florida had beaten Mississippi State in the hump on the road 61-59 early. But if you understand things, Colin Castleton, Florida's best player, was hurt. Yet it ended up being a classic game, the first one of the day today in Nashville, a 69-68 overtime game as the Gators missed a shot at the buzzer. And Myrion Jones, who ironically is a former Huffman Viking from Birmingham and played the first 3 years of his career at Penn State and then the last couple at Florida, he misses a three that could have won the game, but Mississippi State survives 69-68 to win it in overtime. And so the Bulldogs may be in now. That may get at the SEC 8 teams in. Tennessee, very impressive, 70-55 over the Ole Miss Rebels. So Ole Miss hitting the road, and now they are done. So we'll have 2 more games tonight, and we're going to leave this show about 5:45, and that will be pregame for the next one. That's going to have state ties as the Auburn Tigers take the floor, and this could be the most hotly contested game of the tournament, though it's going to have a lot to live up to because Mississippi State and Florida certainly lived up to the billing as the Gators pushed Mississippi State to the brink. But Auburn a slight underdog here. This morning it was 1.5 as the Arkansas Razorbacks are slightly favored over Bruce Pearl's Tigers. They only played once during the regular season, Auburn winning 72-59 in Neville Arena. We will see what happens there, but again, it's a big game for Auburn trying to improve their seeding. I think Auburn is solidly in. Even though Arkansas has not been good in the last couple of weeks, they still are considered in the field by just about all the bracketologists, probably around the 10 seed like they are in the SEC. But we'll see. Certainly Eric Walmart / Eric Musselman, that's what I call him anyway, but Eric Musselman's team, back-to-back Elite Eights. They were top 10 in the country to start this year, but Trevor Brazile went down with an ACL. Nick Smith was hurt and missed some time, and they've just seemed to kind of be a dysfunctional mess. But we'll see what happens with Auburn tonight. I like Auburn in this game. I think Auburn and Tennessee already won just now 70-55, but I think in each the top and the bottom part of the bracket, they are the two kind of dark horses and very dangerous teams. And so we'll see what happens with Auburn tonight. And Wes, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Good to be here.
Going on.
Doing good. It'd be interesting because Mississippi State played Alabama tough last time they played them. This would be the third time they played. Mm-hmm. Hard to beat a team 3 times, right? That's what they say.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there's already been somebody bring it up, though. I think that happened with Alabama and Mississippi State in 20 in Nashville. Alabama had won twice. They played Mississippi State on quarterfinal Friday and then won by like 25. So, and then blitz Mississippi State. But it's going to be interesting because Tulu Smith had a 28 today. He's been a matchup problem for Alabama. It'll be interesting to see if Alabama can double him and limit him. And Alabama, there should be refreshed. I know Nate Oates, we played some of that on the Blitz this morning, his press conference. Brandon Miller also spoke for the first time since February 18th. And also we heard from Javon Quinterly. Both those guys have won postseason awards. Brandon Miller, Player of the Year, Javon Quinterly, Co-Sixth Man of the Year. But again, we'll see. But certainly they've had 3 good days of practice. I think they're raring to go. And Mississippi State is going to have to play on the back-to-back days. And Mississippi State's definitely better than Ole Miss, but I think you saw Ole Miss today. It was a little bit out of gas. So it's going to be interesting to see how this matchup goes with Alabama and Mississippi State, Wes.
Well, no question, because Mississippi State, the teams that have been physical have played well against Alabama. The 2 that come to mind right away, Mississippi State and Auburn. Now, both went on to lose the game, But by being physical, they got Alabama out of their game. And Alabama didn't, I guess, shoot very well in either of those games. To me, for Alabama to win this tournament and have a chance to win the next tournament, they got to shoot better. They have not shot well really the last 6 games. It's been a while since they were over 50% from three. And we know when they are, they're almost you never want to say unbeatable, but they're close.
Well, they are, or if they even shoot 40%. I mean, you can't count on shooting 50% from three. It's very difficult to do every game, but they certainly are capable of shooting in the 40s, and they need to get their bench going, especially guys like Rylan Griffin, who I think we had an interesting stat this morning on the show from Mike Rodak on the Blitz and on the recruiting Blitz. And I think Griffin's 0 for his last 11. Namari Burnett's like 1 for their last 15. So those two guys are knockdown shooters, but they have not been shooting well. So hopefully they can shoot well tomorrow and get Alabama to the semifinals and await the winner of Missouri and Tennessee. And if Arkansas and LSU go down tonight, then all the double-digit seeds will have gone home. And so we'll see. Tennessee was the first Eastern Division team to get a win. We had 3 Western Division teams win up until that point. So we will see, and we've got a battle of Western Division teams. Of course, they don't have divisions anymore, really, but we do have a battle with Arkansas and Auburn coming up first. We're going to go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Mark's been waiting patiently. Mark, good evening.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, Wes, let me tell you, I know you got stock in this station. Let me tell you, the morning show, you need to pay them double. And
I didn't pay him to say this.
Oh, no. Listen. I mean, it's a wonderful show in the morning. This show is terrific. My only complaint is they need to go at least an hour longer, both of them. It's just not long enough. And that's just my honest feedback. I mean, that's a good thing to hear. There's a lot to talk about, and you know how it is. I mean, these shows go 2 hours. I'm sure you guys are like, you look up and, my God, where'd 2 hours go? And today it'll be 45 minutes.
Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't.
Okay, well, I know that during football season and during March Madness,
there's no question. It's you try to have a balanced. You have to. You have to have content, and then there's a delicate balance between the content. When you make agreements, you have to run it, no matter what.
Right.
And so then you have to bump shows, and I think we do a good job of getting it cleared. I wish that we were on longer. I do more consistently, and we realize that, but we knew we were going to have to give that up when we took on Alabama football. So it's just something we had to make a decision on doing. So we talk about it all the time, though, so we'll just see. And I think right now it's better than people wanting more than wanting less.
Oh, yeah. And let me say this, too. I've not talked about this, but I have played college basketball. I played in junior college. I mean, that's not Alabama. But I wanted to mention something, a coaching flaw, and I wanted to see what y'all thought in this game. In the Florida game, I remember playing in a game like this where we were trailing 1 with 4 seconds to go. I think it might have even been 3 point something. And I was really surprised the coach of Florida didn't get the ball across half court, get a timeout. You'll have 3 seconds to go, easy. And then what you do is you get a quick pass at the top of the key, you get it down low, and then you force a foul, or you might get a layup. I thought their 30-foot 3-point shot was a poor deal. Would y'all? I know I may be a little too technical on that, but I mean that coaching, that's what you're supposed to do. And I just want to get y'all's opinion on that in terms of when you got 4 seconds and you don't have to necessarily run down there and shoot a 40-footer or whatever.
Well, I'm not sure it was really a 40-footer. It was more of a going downhill 20 to 25-footer. And it was Myrion Jones, who was ironically he's from Birmingham. He's a Huffman Viking, and he transferred from Penn State to Florida. I thought it was a pretty good look, actually, because they got him going downhill. They inbounded the ball, then, of course, passed it back to him, and he took the ball 2 or 3 dribbles and then pulled up and shot. I thought it was a pretty good look. I mean, I understand what you're saying, wanting to get it inside. But sometimes when you only got 4.1 seconds, I'm wanting to get the shot up, Wes, with 2+ seconds, or at least 1.5. What if you get a tip in? I want to try to get a chance to get an offensive rebound and score it. Now, they weren't able to do that because I think of the long rebound. But, again, I thought they got a decent look at it. And so I understand what he's saying about calling a timeout with 2.5 seconds or whatever. But you're not guaranteed to get it inside. You're not guaranteed to get a good look going downhill when you bring it across midcourt and get it to one of your guards and get it to Myrion Jones, who had made a few threes in the second half, West, to allow Florida, who came back they were down 8 or 9 late and came back and actually took a 1-point lead with 11 seconds left, but Tulu Smith hit a layup off a feed and gave Mississippi State the lead that they wouldn't relinquish in the overtime. It was actually a great basketball game.
Well, if you don't win the game, there's always second guessing, right? I mean, who knows what they were supposed to do anyway? That's the thing. A lot of people try to run plays, and all of a sudden the other team knows the play you're going to run, blocks the play, and then it's the key to me to winning basketball games in the last second is have your best player with the ball. And then, as you say, put it up with like 2.5 seconds left.
Just give yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance to get a rebound and a putback. The only problem with driving to the hole with 4 seconds left is they're going to allow a little contact. You're not going. Just because you're driving doesn't mean you're going to get the call for a foul. In fact, they're going to look the other way unless it's just egregious. And even sometimes when it's egregious, they still look away. They're thinking, hey, they're not supposed to let you do a layup to win the game. So my only thing was to get it to the best person that gives you the best chance to win the game, and after that, hopefully somebody can get a rebound and put back.
And now we need to go back out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Sam set to join us here on this Thursday night as we have our abbreviated edition of The Drive. Drew DeArmond and West Neighbors. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing well.
Man, I first of all, I agree with the last caller. You guys' shows are awesome. I miss the morning show so much. I have to get to work earlier now than I used to, and I don't really get to listen anymore, which sucks. I always enjoy hearing Drew's straight to the point, non-PC opinions on things.
Come on.
Hey, man, we do have it on SoundCloud. If they'll allow you at work to listen to it while you work, we always post it. Our resourceful producer, Bailey Lowry, gets it up right after 9 o'clock. So if you got a chance to listen to it in the morning while you're at work, we definitely encourage you to do so.
All right, sweet. Also, I wanted to ask, I know this has probably been beaten to death, like, the whole beating a dead horse thing, but the whole, the proposed new 3-team permanent opponent thing, I just wanted you guys' opinions. I know I've heard Wes talk about it, and I was just wondering what y'all thought, because I know there's some teams like Tennessee that aren't even playing, or at least on the proposed stuff, they're not currently playing Kentucky, which makes no sense. I think Alabama should be playing Mississippi State. I think Auburn should be playing Florida. I mean, I know Alabama, Georgia, Florida sounds hard, but if we're going for traditional rivalries, then I think we're missing the boat on some of these.
Well, I would agree with Alabama. I think it would help. It wouldn't hurt the Alabama-LSU rivalry at all. I think it would allow the LSU fans to relax somewhat. But I think it should be Alabama should be Auburn and Tennessee, and then Mississippi State. Mississippi State's their closest geographic rival, and Wes, you can correct me on this, but I think it's their longest-running series, even longer than Tennessee and Auburn.
It might be. I
don't
doubt that.
That's correct. I think that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, as a former player,
and you have ties to both Alabama and LSU, Wes. So.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I get why LSU wants Alabama because they bring people to the games. I get that. It brings in prominence when they win, obviously. But to me, you're going to be playing them most of the time anyway. I wish they stick with divisions. I said that. I kind of like the divisions. It makes it interesting. It makes it almost like two different SEC races. And when you're gonna, to me, you don't want to make the SEC championship game anyway. Too much. It's just an extra game. It's not really going to count for much. The way they pretty much said that this year when TCU made it anyway. And now you're going to have 12 teams. I mean, all you can do is play another game and get people hurt. I mean, to me, I wish they'd just do away with the SEC championship game. I know there's a lot of money and that's unpopular, but all championship games, do it like they used to. I mean, if you have two teams 6-1 and they didn't play together, or 8-1 or whatever it is, they tie for the championship. Who needs it? The only reason they're doing the SEC championship game now is because of the money.
I would like to keep divisions too, but I just don't know. If you move Alabama and Auburn to the east, what do you do with Missouri?
Move them.
Because they're the outlier that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's no question about that. I think you're going to have to move Auburn, Alabama, and Mississippi State all to the east, and then have Missouri and Texas and Oklahoma in the west, and there you go.
Have a Big 12 reunion.
Yeah, that's what basically would be. It would be the Big 12 and LSU, right? Pretty much. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
it makes sense for Arkansas.
Yeah,
that's most of their rivals are over there.
Exactly. And I guess Ole Miss would be in the would end up in the west also. So they'd be over there. I think that makes the most sense to me. And then maybe you don't play. You'd have 3 crossovers because you'd have 9 games, and then you play those teams. You rotate them pretty good, and then in 4 years you're going to play them all, right? Is that my math right?
That's right.
Yeah. So
you're still playing them.
Yeah, you're still playing them regularly.
A lot more regularly
than now. Whoever did the scheduling, how in the world did Georgia not? I guess they were supposed to play Texas A&M in the COVID year, and then got moved. I guess that's what happened. How did they not end up playing each other? That's a travesty too, because those teams would be good matchups. Maybe not last year, but the years before.
I don't think Georgia's been to College Station since they joined the conference. I don't think.
That's just nuts. That's no excuse for that. And that's what I remember. I guess Alabama people are a little sensitive because they remember one year when we played 5 teams after they had bye weeks. 5 or 6 teams. And I really don't care if we play LSU, but I can understand why Coach Saban or Mississippi State. In the end. It's not like I'm going to go on strike or anything. It's just that they were talking about, Coach Saban's talking about the fairness of and the way they're doing it. And I agree with him that that it's not very fair the way they're doing it, going with the last 10 years when Tennessee was awful 8 of the last 10 years, and now they're obviously going to be one of the top teams in the East again this year. So hats off to Tennessee, but it's like that's not the way you're supposed to do it. To me, you're supposed to do it by, I guess, the rivalries versus proximity. So anyway.
Well, we appreciate the phone call, Jim. Man, thanks for calling. Or Sam. I'm sorry. We appreciate you for calling, Sam, and thank you for listening. And please, like I said, check out our SoundCloud page if they'll let you. Listen at work. I know you said you can't join us anymore on your way to work because you work earlier because we're on.
SoundCloud.
Yeah, a little bit. We're on a little bit at a time that doesn't line up with your trip to work. But again, as Wes said, SoundCloud is going to do you just fine, and you can still hear our show each and every morning. And we've had a good week so far. Scott's been on assignment, but we had Steve in with me. On Wednesday, and then it's been, kind of going back in time because, Wes, it's hard for me to believe. I owe you my career, but I believe my 8-year anniversary is coming up. I can't believe I've already been with the station 8 years. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, March of 2015 is when I started this, and it was 12-1 to see how it would go. Then it was 12-2. Then it was 9-12, and then now for the last several years I've been with Scott 7-9. So it's been a great ride, and I wouldn't want to do anything else, and they say if you don't consider it work, it's not a job. So I love what I do, no doubt about it. But we're going to go on a break when we come back. Still open the phone lines to you, 256-576-4977.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats. Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Now's the time to order your spiral cut honey glazed ham or turkey for Easter from Apple Lane in Decatur. Or maybe consider ordering the family meal deal for Easter. That includes an Apple Lane ham, a dozen rolls, sweet potato dumplings, potato salad, and Apple Lane's award-winning banana pudding. If you're hosting a corporate event or just a group of friends, Apple Lane has you covered. They have all kinds of box lunch and party tray options. To order for Easter or any time, log on AppleLaneFarms.com. Apple Lane on the Beltline in Decatur. The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit HuntsvilleSports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions? Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on IOPServicesLLC.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
As we are here on this abbreviated edition of The Drive, I'm Drew DeArmond, sitting in with Wes Neighbors. And, of course, this is firing season in college basketball. If you grew up as a child of the 80s like I did, Patrick Ewing was one of the beasts of college basketball. There's no question about that. One of the all-time great players in the history of college basketball. Played for the great late John Thompson. Went to 3 Final Fours in 4 years. Won it all in 1984. But he has been fired now after hardly 6 years he made it as head coach. It's been that many. But they finished 7-25. They were eliminated by Villanova today, 80-48 in the first round of the Big East tournament. On Wednesday night. Let me correct that. They waited till today to fire him, 80-48 though by 32. Villanova, who's rebuilding after Jay Wright retired, but he ends up going 75-109 in 6 years. But Patrick Ewing, still more of an NBA guy, I believe, with his coaching acumen and the way. There are some guys that are NBA guys, or some guys that are college guys, and things of that nature. But Patrick Ewing out, and also there has been nothing officially announced. But now that Ole Miss has been eliminated, and we talked about it 70-55 by the Tennessee Volunteers, is Chris Beard. Because, see, Wes, that was the big topic last night into this morning. Is Chris Beard about to be the next head coach at Ole Miss? Of course, the former Texas coach, Texas Tech. He got fired at Texas for a domestic dispute that he's now been cleared of, but he got Texas Tech to the national championship game.
He got fired for something he was cleared of?
Yeah, he was accused of domestic violence against his girlfriend, longtime girlfriend. And then that he strangled her, he touched her in an inappropriate way, and then they had almost like a little dust up. It got physical, and he was suspended. It was investigated. He was fired by Texas for cause, and then eventually all the charges were dropped, and so he got fired. Steve Moulton and I talked about this on the drive, and we last week and. We were talking about Kermit Davis, one of our favorite guys, didn't make it there, he got fired. But we were like, what would you do if you were, Ole Miss? And, the 3 names we heard were interesting, but Beard was at the top. And I thought, okay, we looked at each other and we said, look, if I were Ole Miss, and I'm Keith Carter, and he's the AD, and he's a former basketball player, he's a basketball guy, with Beard being cleared, I would vet every angle of that. And if he was at all interested in Ole Miss, that's who I would go after, because he's a dude with a Final Four in his resume, a national championship game appearance. He got Arkansas Little Rock to the NCAA tournament. He went to UNLV for about a week and then ended up at Texas Tech. Nobody's done at Texas Tech what he did, and he was on the way to doing great things at Texas. I think it'll make the league even better, and we'll see if that ends up happening.
Of course, it depends on – just because you're cleared doesn't mean everything's righteous, right? So we'll just have to see how that shakes out. But you look at Patrick Ewing, he was 2-37 in the league the last 2 years. He won 2 league games in the last – and that's kind of shocking. He was 121-23 as a player and 75-109 as a coach. Some people were just, not made to be a coach. But to me, the whole Big East – is a shell of its former self. You look at UConn's still pretty good, obviously, but you look at Syracuse, their coach retired,
and they're in the ACC now anyway. So yeah. when that league started breaking up, it's just not the same. It's
not the same. You're right, but the old teams are not the same. There's no question about that. The whole Big East is near a shell of its former self.
And the other 2 candidates, here's the ironic part, Wes, and we're talking about Ole Miss. The other 2 candidates that have been mentioned prominently are Dusty May, and he has had Florida Atlantic, Wesley's old school in football, in the top 25. They're the number 1 seed in the Conference USA tournament. He's got Todd Abernathy on his staff, an Ole Miss Rebel, so he has been mentioned prominently in this search. And the other one to be mentioned, and this is what really makes you shake your head, and it's got to be because I guess it's legal now, due to NIL, but it's Western Union himself, Will Wade. That one stunned me a little bit, that Ole Miss would even consider talking to a guy.
Can they hire him?
He hasn't been given a show cause or anything, which if he can be rehired by Ole Miss, why is Jeremy Pruitt not coaching? Yeah, that's all I can say.
He hasn't been hired yet. I'll be shocked.
Well, I don't think Western Union is getting hired, but like I told somebody, when he was recruiting Trendon Watford at Mountain Brook, I was at the state tournament, and Wade was making the rounds, and I walked past him, and I felt like I needed to take a shower. I mean, good Lord, this guy's a slime ball. And I'm like, he just had a terrible reputation, going all the way back to his days as the coach at Chattanooga. And then he went to VCU, then he went to LSU. I just can't believe he would already get another job after telling people he pays more than the G League. But I'm sitting here thinking, well, I guess it's because of NIL right now. You can pay, but I just could not believe that Will Wade's name even came up. I was like, wow. Because he finally got fired for college at LSU because of the NCAA investigation. And he left that program in a bad way. I mean, Matt McMahon, look at him. I mean, he had a really rough first year, and well, they're playing again tonight, but still, he had to put together a mid-major roster because everybody left, and so it's just, and they're being investigated, so it's rough. And then the FBI was all over him, but I was just shocked but again, you read those lists, maybe he wasn't really a viable candidate at Ole Miss, but if they get Chris Beard and he's cleared, I think it would be a huge boon for the league. It would make the SEC, which I think is getting better, Wes, even tougher.
Yeah, I really thought the SEC was better 2 years ago, and I think they only got 6 or 7 teams in, and now they're going to get 8 teams.
Yeah, it looks it does look
just college basketball. I mean, other than the Big 12, I think looks really good. The Big 10 looks pretty good, but
it always does, and then March comes around. And
right.
Gone by the first week.
I know it. They're always overrated, but it just doesn't seem like there are a lot of teams with a lot of depth. Like Kentucky doesn't look like they have the depth. Auburn, obviously, if they had 1 or 2 more players, would be a top 15 school. And they might be in the end anyway. I mean, they're playing pretty good right now. But you look at just the different schools, just look like except for Alabama has a lot of depth. And they were able to win the conference, but not everybody looks like they have a lot of depth at all. Texas A&M does at guard.
They're good.
They're
love Buzz.
Yeah, so you got to love him the way
he's the anti-dirt neck. I mean, love that dude, man. Love everything he stands for. I followed his career. He recruited down here west when he was at Marquette because that was probably his first bigger Division I job. He was down here recruiting. Lee had some really good players at the time. That another Joshua Langford that he was interested in recruiting, and he was down here, and Trevor Lacey and people of that ilk at Butler. But Buzz went to Virginia Tech and did a great job. Ironically, 5 years ago they lost to Alabama in the first round of the NCAA tournament, and Colin Sexton and John Petty and those guys. And now he's at Texas A&M, solid 2 seed, almost won the tournament a year ago, almost got into the NCAAs. Should be in this year as they go 15-3 in the regular season. But I just love Buzz Williams. I love his work ethic. And I've been in press conferences when they beat Alabama on a heave at the buzzer.
Right.
And he's just such a deep when you listen to Buzz Williams, he's just authentic.
Where was he before?
As I said, he was at Virginia Tech, and then before that at Marquette. So he's worked his way up the ladder.
Is he what was the great coach that was Marquette?
Al McGuire.
Is he an Al McGuire guy or not?
No, he wasn't really a Marquette guy.
So the year Al McGuire and the Marquette won the national championship,
70s, yeah.
I went to the regional, was in Tuscaloosa.
Awesome.
And Marquette was there, and I watched 2 games that Marquette played with my dad and
John Mitchell.
John Mitchell, yeah.
I was gonna
Isn't
say,
that crazy?
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
John Mitchell. I mean, wow. I mean, what a legend.
When I was a kid, that's who I used to hang out with. John Mitchell and my dad went everywhere together. Yeah.
I mean, I just wish your dad, Lord rest his soul, were here so he could get John Mitchell to do an interview.
Well, I bet we need to call him. We need to call him anyway.
Well, I mean, now he's retired, but I know he's always been.
No, he needs. He is. To me, they ought to have a statue of John Mitchell too.
Oh, I agree. I just mean he like Conridge Holloway, who was maybe the greatest athlete in the history of the city. They don't do a lot of interviews, and you really want to talk to them and be fascinated by their stories, but it's their choice.
Well, let me tell you about Conridge Holloway.
Yeah.
When Conridge Holloway was running the hockey team here, of all things, he was GM of the hockey team here. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I bought the front row seats. I was one of the first people to buy the seats for my kids. Were 3 and 5 years old. So
we know Connor played hockey.
Yeah, well, he did do that.
He was good.
Yeah, he was good. He was fun to watch. Anyway, but I mean, we catch pucks. We had a great time with it. And me and Conjures always talk. Well, we're over at the first SEC championship game that was in Atlanta. And Conjures is there and says, hey, they had the old quarterbacks back. Yeah. And the old quarterbacks would pick somebody from the crowd to be their partner. Right. The kid. And Wesley wore his Tennessee shirt next to Conjures. He said, you don't care. I said, not at all. And they won the whole thing.
Oh, awesome. That's an awesome story. Well, I know we need to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up this abbreviated edition of The Drive. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
With over 100 F-150s to choose from and available financing as low as 0%, now is the perfect time to put one in your driveway. It's Truck Month at Woody Anderson Ford. Hi, Bobby White back again, inviting you to come on in for the best selection of F-150s we've had in a while. And if you find one that you like, there is no payment for 90 days. Also, during Truck Month, not only do you get 0% financing for up to 36 months, but we've also got 2.9% financing for 5 years on remaining 22 models with your good credit through Ford Motor Credit. This offer ends April 4th. And don't forget, we make it really easy for you to trade in and trade up on a Ford Blue Advantage Gold Certified or Blue Certified pre-owned vehicle. Great warranties, 24-hour roadside assistance, and you take it home with a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Hurry on in for Truck Month. 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and over 100 F-150s to choose from.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
This is Wes Neighbors with Philip with Eagle Insulation, and we have an announcement to make.
Yes, Wes, we are now Eagle Masonry and Insulation. We're still a place to call for your insulation needs, but now we offer masonry services.
What kind of masonry projects can you handle?
Wes, no job is too big, no job is too small. We can do renovations, new construction, outdoor fireplaces, fire pits, brick landscape borders.
Well, when you came out to my house, you did both the insulation and masonry at the same time. You guys did rock for me, you did brick for me, and you insulated my house. That's usually done at the same time that you're building a house.
Absolutely. It really capitalizes on two services you need at the same time, and you can get one company to handle both of those.
Philip with Eagle Insulation will come out, do your installation. He'll do your masonry. They do a great job. They guarantee your work. Check out more online at insulatedwitheagle.com and schedule your free examination today. 256-755-1556.
Thanks, Wes.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Thursday, expect scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. High temperatures are expected to top out near 60 degrees for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 15 miles per hour. Heading into your Thursday night, expect a few scattered showers and potentially a thunderstorm. Coming to an end before midnight, though, low temperatures expect fall into the low 50s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN. The Zone.
Talent Heating and Air plus 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bracket Challenge is coming.
You're going to have to explain that.
Head to 97.7ESPN.com and sign up your team today.
I followed your instructions implicitly.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Final few minutes of this abbreviated edition of The Drive. I'm Drew DeArmond with West Neighbors, and we're going to go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Welcome Shutdown Man to the show. What's up, man?
Hey, Drew. Hey, Wes. I noticed a report just recently came out about Alabama's football, I guess, all season, a lot of weight gain. This report also reported the weight losses, but just looking across the board, it looked like everybody's gaining weight, 10, 12, 15, 20 pounds, offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, defensive line. I just wanted to see what you think went into that decision. What's your interpretation? What do you think's happening for this kind of change?
I'm not real sure. I don't know, you want to put on good weight. When I got there, I was probably 265. When I left, I was 275, and I looked like a different person, So as long as the weight's, one time they had me lose a bunch of weight at 245 because they wanted me to play a bunch of snaps, and I got thrown around like a rag doll for 2 or 3 days, and I gained 15 pounds in 3 weeks. That's the funnest 2 weeks of my life, by the way. I ate anything I want, everything I wanted. But, so I don't – it's hard to say what the weight is. You want to put on good weight. To me, maybe they thought they weren't physical enough, and that's what they're trying to get to, where they're bigger, stronger, and more physical. Mm-hmm. I thought we were out physical in several games. The LSU game comes to mind to me. We couldn't move anybody off the ball.
Short yardage all year.
Well, I think that's a combination of not only his technique more than anything, and that has to change. I mean, you go watch the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs or any of these teams are and they get it on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. If you can't get it on 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1, you're not going to win football games. You're not going to beat a good team. You can't do it. And even against Texas, we were lucky as hell. Our guard got knocked back 2 yards, and the back tripped over and just made a hell of a play to get a first down, just a hell of an athletic play. Technique, if you're big, you're strong, you have good footwork, and your technique's good, there's impossible for you not to get a first down. Impossible. It could get 1 yard. It can't happen if you do the right things. And Alabama has to get back to that.
Yeah, one thing, it's across the board, so it's defense too. I'm just kind of concerned, if we go back to huge guys on defense, are they going to be able to cover these hurry up, no huddle, wide, spread offenses? But it looks like they're thinking, we can beat all these guys. We just need to focus on beating LSU.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if the secondary guys are gaining weight. I'll be able to tell when
they are. It was across the board. I looked at every position group. They're gaining not just 5 pounds; they're gaining 10 and 12, even wide receivers.
And one of the other things is when you're a freshman and sophomore and you report, you get weighed, and then 2 years later you're not bigger. You haven't been working hard enough. So that's just, that's what happens is, when they don't weigh you and change the weight on the things every once in a while. They do it every once a year usually. So it'd be interesting to see, but as long as they're working hard and they're in shape, being big is better than being little.
Well, thank you, Shutdown Man. And 70-55, as we said, Tennessee beats Ole Miss. Santiago Vescovi 15, Josiah Jordan James 20, and then earlier in the day, Mississippi State, Tulu Smith and Shaq Moore, they lead the way. Mississippi State wins 69-68 in overtime. Auburn and Arkansas up next, and then LSU tonight is going to try to take on Vanderbilt. That's your two matchups on 97.7 The Zone. Good night, everybody.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Presentation of the SEC Radio Network.
14 teams over 5 days.
Hit ahead, and he'll jam it down for the exclamation mark. Kick out, right side. Three ball is good.
This is the SEC Men's Basketball Tournament.
To the bucket, right down the center of the